Hiya, welcome back to the budget journey, or welcome if you've not been with us before. These videos are about my journey, my personal journey with taking a hold of my expenses and my budget, and sharing them with you in the hope that you get something from that. I just want to make it really clear that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just an ordinary northeastern sort of English northeastern girl, having a bit of an epiphany really with budgets, and I wanted to share my story, and I wanted to just make sure that I helped as many people as possible with that. So this is video 3, and this is talking about something that I think is really important to everybody. So saving money on your grocery shop. I think certainly for me, I spent way too much on my groceries because I wasn't shopping mindfully. I call it shopping mindfully. So this is about how I halved my grocery budget. So my grocery budget in December was something like £288. And I think that's a lot for a single woman. So I live on my own, I live in a little flat. I spent £288, that's in grocery stores, so that's without me eating in restaurants, without me having visited my parents and eating there, and things like that. So what I did was I took a look at my grocery spend and realised I was spending in several different places, several different supermarkets, corner shops that tend to be more expensive for us here, and just really not thinking about what I was buying. So I was buying a lot of ready-made food, even though I love fresh food. I think it's really important to eat fresh food, and just really not thinking about what I was doing with food. The other part of that, so on top of that, I had spent around £77 on eating out and having coffee and cake and sandwiches with friends. So all in all, I ate my way through way in excess of £300 worth of food, and I just think that's phenomenal. So that was December. So I've just done my grocery shop, and I've done it slightly differently than I was doing it in January. In January I was doing it weekly, and I was taking cash, allowing myself a small amount for my meat order, which I get from like a delivery. I get a delivery of meat, and I struggled a little bit with that because I found the weekly spend quite restricting. So where maybe I wanted to buy a box of cereal that might last me more than a week, probably last me for a month or more, having a weekly budget was a little bit limiting. And I also wanted to take account of some of the benefits that we get through work. So I work for an organisation that has an employee comp and ben scheme, so you get all sorts of different discounts through that. And one of the things that we can get is e-vouchers, whereby we buy a voucher at less than the price than it's worth. So I bought a Marks and Spencer's voucher, and I don't mind, I'll talk about where I shop, it shouldn't be a problem really, for £46.75, but I got £50 worth of voucher, so I made a saving of 6.5%. So my aim was to use that voucher in the local Marks and Spencer's grocery store and supplement my monthly meat order with topped it up with sort of store cupboard groceries and some fruit and veg. So that's what I did. So I went yesterday, and I did really well. I actually went over budget by about £6, but that's okay, because what I did was I forgot to put a couple of essential items on the list, and I have allowed myself a £20 excuse me, £17 50 budget, which allows me to buy fresh fruit and veg throughout the month. So my monthly shop is done. My meat order came on Friday. I've got about 55 worth of meals in that order. And then what I got with my e-voucher will probably last me, some of the stuff will last me more than a month, some of it won't, some of it will last me a couple of weeks, but that's why I've got the £17.50 float for the extra things. So my total food budget for February will be £140. That's half. So I've halved the food budget, and how I did that, well, half the food budget that I had in December. And how I did that was I was just mindful about what I was buying. I looked at what I needed. I loosely planned some meals, so I'm not always very strict with it with a daily meal plan, but I do kind of have a bit of an idea about what I'm going to eat for my breakfasts and what I'm going to have for my lunches, and what kind of food I'm going to cook and eat for my evening meals. So with that in mind, I ordered the meat and I went out and did the grocery shop. So it was really just a matter of thinking about what I needed. And when I was in the store, I was very mindful to write everything down that I actually picked up and put in the trolley, and wrote down the price of that and added it up as I went along. Now, some supermarkets actually do, you can get an electronic device, I've seen those, whereby you can add your items as you go along, you can scan them in. I think the store I went to does have that, but I'm just not very familiar with that, so I need to learn that. So I'm going to have a look at that. There's some other things to talk about really in terms of saving money. A couple of friends have mentioned some really nice ideas. So there is an app called Too Good To Go, which you can use to purchase items that supermarkets or other food retailers, sometimes it's takeouts and coffee shops and things that do it, and they will sell you their food that is about to which is being thrown out. It's not at thrown out level, but they wouldn't be able to resell that on another day. They will sell those for about a third of the price that they would ordinarily sell. So I'm going to look into that. I've not used it for a couple of reasons yet, but a few people have said it's really good. The reason I haven't is because the pickup times for the food is usually when I'm not available, or the fact that I've spent my money and I don't really need anything else. So I don't want to spend money on stuff that I don't need. That's the other thing. And people are always coming up with lovely ideas. There are different schemes. If you are working in a health service or an emergency service, there's something called a blue light card. I do have a blue light card, and I'm looking at places where I can use that. And there is a store that you can get a membership card for, and you can purchase, again, it's a little bit like Too Good To Go in that it's items that wouldn't be able to resell. They may be very near to their sell by date. So it's very much a lottery when you go there. You can't sort of go with a list and say this is what I'm going to get. You just kind of have to take potluck. So those are the things I'm doing, and I'm really happy with using the e-voucher. It was really easy. I went through an electronic till, which I don't really like, but I had no choice on the day. So that's where I am in terms of what I've done with groceries. So with that £148 that I have saved, that will be getting paid off my credit card. I'm really looking forward to the coming week. I have not yet paid anything off a credit card because if you've watched earlier videos, what you will see is that I've had a lot of unexpected expenses, and we've talked about having that contingency. When I checked my accounts this afternoon, it looks quite healthy, and I'm just going to wait until my rent payment has gone out, and then I'm going to have another look just to double check, and I will be making my first payment on my credit card. So I will report back on that next week. I want to talk about, just briefly before I finish on this video, temptation. So I've had a lot of temptation thrown at me this week. I've been invited to events which have been lovely, and things have been for sale, and believe me, I could have spent an absolute fortune there, but I didn't. I was really proud of that. I was really proud that I walked away and I've said no. saying no to spending money when you need to say no to spending money is incredibly empowering. It actually has made me feel really proud of what I've achieved up to now, and that I can do this. I can be debt free. Not only will I be debt free, but I can start investing and saving for my future, which is something that I've not done very well, because I've been absolutely rubbish with money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to think about what you can do to reduce your grocery budget, or whatever budget it is that you are spending, or you feel you're spending way too much on. What can you do? I think digging deep and really having a look at what you spend is really important, because a lot of people will say, well, I don't earn enough money, I don't get enough, there's not enough income. And I understand that, hear that, because I've been there. And now what I want to say is really, really dig deep and have a look. There might just be that one thing that you can let go of. Have a look at your subscriptions, have a look at your groceries, your coffee spend, your takeout spend, your travel spend, your car payments, all of those things, and see whether or not there's anything that you can change and switch about. It really is worth doing. When you start feeling that you've finally got a hold of and control of money, and that there's a kind of a light at the end of the tunnel with debt, it is a really nice feeling. You can't beat it. Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it for now. I will catch up with you in a week's time. I'll do some reviewing, and I'm going to start looking at thinking about your emotional attachment to money and possessions, because that's where you need to start. So bye for now, and I'll speak to you soon.